are recording. So, this is my intro. Everybody's on set. Come this way, both of you, a little bit. I want to be a little closer.
Tucked in.
All right, yeah.
Be all tucked in.
Yeah. It's just like I was here in the view, and then you guys were all the way over there. It looks like the camera made it look a little more dramatic than it was, and I didn't want to be alone.
Nobody ever does.
Hey, Jodi Arias was in the end.
Welcome
Welcome to this week's episode. Hey guys, welcome back to the Creepy 100 podcast. I am your host, Kinson. This is Mark, and today in the studio we have a very special guest. This is Brent Lee, both of our friends. He is going to be joining us today, as well as next week.
Me?
When we cover Krampus.
Oh my god!
But today, as
It's a 2 for 1!
It's a 2 for 1. It's a double smackaroo, and if you're watching the video, you're gonna see us in the same fucking clothes. This is a double feature.
No costume change today.
The only thing we're changing in the meantime is Michael's outfit. See, now you have to do it. I just forced that upon you in between episodes. Put him in the it outfit.
Should I just put like a Santa hat on?
Oh, that'd be funny for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, today is actually the last pod that they are going to see until Christmas. Krampus is going to be 2 days after. No, just kidding. Krampus is going to be 3 days before. Our last one is going to be 2 days after. So ignore all of that. I just lied to you for a while.
In real time, today's the day before Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So we are.
We're so fucked up in our timeline right now.
We're so fucked up.
It's bad. Okay, well, speaking of fucked up, today we are going to be talking about Jodi Arias. This is a older case. This was actually right at the time of Casey Anthony as well. They were actually on trial the same time. And the media attention was 10% bigger for Casey Anthony, and that's about it. This one was also stupid fucking popular. However, I had never heard of it because I was a child. And I didn't read
Speaking of children, Casey Anthony.
All right. All right, guys. So what we're going to do is, as always, I'm going to give you guys some background, and then I'm going to get into the actual case. The only thing I'm not going to do on this one, which I usually do, is I'm not going to cover a lot of the trial, because the trial is long and obnoxious, and we cut this down to a 1-part instead of a 2-part. So just quite frankly, I don't have time to talk about how much bullshit she throws out in this fucking trial with her and fucking Ernie, her fucking lawyer. He was his name was like Ernie or some shit, and he was just a public defender that got stuck on this case. He tried to retire and get out of it like 5 times, and they were like, no. You either defend her or we're taking your license. And so he was basically doing a fight for not the chair in this entire case at the end of it. But we will somewhat get into that.
Yeah, we know how it goes.
Oh, yeah. Way before the pod days.
Oh, before the pod days.
Yeah, when we had to.
Are we allowed to talk about that?
Not yet. We got I think 2 more years before we can talk about it.
Yeah, that was before you guys started funding us, and when we had to steal for rations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Jodi. We're going to go into the earlier life of Jodi Arias. Then I'm going to talk about her boyfriend and soon-to-be victim after that, Travis. But right now we're going to go with Jodi. So Jodi was born on July 9th of 1980. She lived surprisingly in like a super white picket fence, beautiful childhood, had an amazing time, which is not usually the case with people that kill people.
Right.
Yeah, the only thing that was bad was her parents were kind of like, I don't know how to say, they weren't like bad to her, but they were like super overreactive of everything she did. Everything she did was the worst thing in the world. It's like that, like it's like for some reason she was the kid. She had other siblings too, but she was the kid where everything she did was the end of the world. Her and her siblings could do the exact same thing at the exact same time, and she would get in trouble. Basically, that's the environment. Mm-hmm. And
right.
So Eventually, this got her to start throwing like huge like fits, like so bad to where they had to call the cops on Jodi because she would go ape shit. Because she was like, it doesn't matter. I can say screw you, or I can break the TV and I get the same punishment. So why wouldn't I go crazy?
Honestly, good job, Jodi.
Kind of.
That was a slime action word.
I was like, I could kind of like see your nose peeking through here, and I thought that it said she had huge tits.
It might. Where?
Well, no, she threw huge fits. But I was like, all right, Kay.
You know what's funny is I talk about it later, and she gets a boob job.
Oh, right.
So I thought that's what you were talking about. You saw it coming. But
threw huge fits, got huge tits.
Yeah, fits and tits, baby.
That needs to make it into the bio for this episode.
Today we talk about fits and tits.
Today it's about the big fits and the bigger tits. Buffalo Lane baby, we're talking about Jodi Arias.
It's not that far off. From
Troublies
all of
and
her
jubblies.
So, after a few of these big fits and big tits, she ended up leaving home. She dropped out of high school and she just fucking dipped. You know, honestly, like you said, good for her, as she should.
Right.
Because they were being fucking crazy. She became a waiter for a long time, like just, you know, what you do when every adult woman that's a waiter ran away from home.
It's fucking bold. Bold but accurate.
At one point.
I don't think
This is one of my favorite parts of the story is that while she was a waiter, she dated a self-proclaimed vampire who believed he was a vampire. He worked at a gas station.
Like vampires do.
Yes, as they do.
night shift.
Of course.
Of course. It actually was.
It had to be.
It was
He's
the
a vampire.
overnight
I'm
shift.
following the story.
Do you know about vampires? Do I need to catch you up on the lore?
Yeah.
They can't work in daytime.
No, they can't.
He probably thought he worked at the garlic store.
Dweeb over here thought he was cutting garlic.
All right, listen, I got the notes, okay?
I'm driving the
I know what this man did.
I'm driving the bussy.
Yeah. While she's dating him, though, we do start to see the first of a long string of her kind of being very crazy, and like she adapts to all of her boyfriends. So she gets a boyfriend and becomes the girlfriend, and that is her only role. She makes the whole boyfriend the center of her life, changes to them, adapts to what they like, just like way over the top than like a normal relationship. Because, you know, you get in a normal relationship, start dating someone, you obviously like start to share interests. You start to like what they like because they like it so much, blah, blah, blah. She was over that. Like dyeing hair to their favorite color. At one point, she'll get a boob job for a guy. Like it is way over the top, unasked for.
So far, Jody's rad.
So far, Jodi is
I
rad.
think something bad's about to happen.
You could not be more correct.
She's a ride or die bitch. She's That's all I'm hearing.
So with this, with the gas station vampire, it eventually didn't work out.
The gas station.
Just because.
Somehow something went wrong there.
Yeah,
Broke
just
up with a
because
typo-negative
you know what went wrong is he wanted her to move to a city. And Dennis was a city where he knew of more vampires. He knew that like this is the vampire hub, and she was like he was like let's go, and she was like nah, I've this was all pretend. I don't think you're an actual vampire. I gotta go. This was all just because like I wanted to be with you. And so they didn't end up. In my notes, I literally have this as they didn't work out because he wanted to move them down to a city where he knew the real vampires were. But basically, that's what happened. They broke up. Some random, and this is how crazy she is. Some random customer came into her waiting job like a few weeks after this and talked about the end of the world and said that it like was on a specific date, which was in like 99 or something like that. And she freaked out so bad that she drove to where he moved and knocked on the door and was like, quick, the end of the world's coming. We have to prepare. And that was like her in to get back with this dude because she's very fucking smart. Like she's crazy, but she's smart as shit. So she knew that he would freak out and have a reaction to that so much that she could like claw her way back in there to a relationship because she was bored after 2 weeks. However,
Sounds like someone we know.
so after, that obviously the end of the world didn't come. It was like a few months down, didn't come. And they broke up again. And she started to... And the only reason that they broke up so dramatically is because she found this other dude who was the biggest loser in her life. It was this dude who was like 40, recently divorced, alcoholic guy that just somehow gave her like 5 minutes of attention. And she was like, oh, this has been 5 minutes of attention. He only gave me 2 today. So you're the next one. Broke up with that guy, immediately got to this guy. And like when I say recently divorced, I mean like within a month recently divorced.
Oh, geez.
So he obviously is like missing his ex-wife in this time so much that Jodi becomes the ex-wife.
Oh,
Dyes the hair
fuck.
blonde. This is when she gets the boob job. She starts putting on an accent that the wife had. She literally creates the ex-wife in her so that he will like her more. And this is, again, just a long string of things that she like does, just adapting to her boyfriends, which is just fucking weird and like way over dramatic. She did, although eventually become bored of him because, she changed everything about herself and he was still a 40-year-old alcoholic. So then we get to this coworker showing her a DVD. This DVD is from a company called Prepaid Legal. And it was basically like a recruitment video. It's a multi-level marketing scheme, 100%. The whole company and the rest of this story revolves around this fucking MLM. And it's basically like you pay them monthly fees or whatever, and you always have a lawyer on standby, like a good lawyer, to come get you. And then you can recruit other people. And then those people can recruit people. And you get like a percentage of all their sales, and you get blah, blah, blah. It's just to a T. It's a fucking pyramid scheme. And so, but she fell for this DVD 100%. And she got involved. She started to work from home as like a sales rep, like cold call sales rep for them, and then was invited to attend a conference for all the sales employees in September of 2006. And this is where she will meet the man that she eventually stabs 27 times.
Spoiler alert.
Nice.
I know. Well, happened a while ago. So
You're right, the 2-week period's up.
exactly. So going all the way back. Now we're at Travis. Travis is the man that she'll meet. This becomes her boyfriend. Travis Alexander was born in July 28th of 1977. He was born in California. This is the opposite case, I say, because Travis is the one that had the super shit childhood. Like, he was abused. His parents were meth heads. He would get burnt by the cigarettes and by literally like the end of the pipe. Like the circle part of the pipe, they would like
He
on
flinched.
it. I know.
Are you okay?
Skipping.
The abuse was so bad that he eventually had this super crazy fear of bugs from waking up covered in cockroaches so many times because his like home life was so fucked. They would beat the shit out of him whenever he would like interrupt their come
Century
down.
City.
Hey, bro, my last apartment, I made the bugs leave. Okay, they were there when I got there. They were there when I got there.
They woke up with Kinson on top of that.
I waited till I saw like an antenna move, so they remembered it. So, right around this time when he was getting abused and it was getting really, really bad, he was introduced to Mormonism.
Oof.
Yup. And this kid ran with it. I mean, like a lot of people like, discover the church and they like do it from their own beliefs. But for him, everybody in the Church of Mormon and going to those events and everything was the biggest escape from an abusive household. So that's like how he perceived it. It wasn't so much about the actual beliefs. It was the fact that if I get really involved here, I get to leave there. So he went crazy on this. And he ended up becoming a pretty devout Mormon, somewhat. There was a few of their beliefs that he didn't really get down with, like the whole not having sex thing. And he, right here in my notes, he wanted to fuck. So he kept having to go to confession because he kept having sex with a bunch of Mormon girls. And then every time he would go and have sex with a Mormon girl and then confess, they would ban him from service for a few days because I guess that's how like it works. And you can't come to the service. But
Can't come if you come.
yeah, facts. And he would get so fucking mad.
Come if you gamed.
Yeah. And he would get mad because then he would have to stay home and he couldn't go away from his home where all this bad stuff was happening. So then he started to become more and more devout, but he kept doing it. And then he would start doing it in secret. And that is kind of what gave Jodi such a good in, is because he wanted to have sex and he was going to have sex, but he just couldn't do it with the Mormon girls anymore because someone's going to tell somebody. And then I can't come to service anymore. So he's got to be like secretive about it.
I don't understand why he didn't like wife him up. You know what I mean? He could have had a whole like Mormon broad harem.
That's what he always wanted, actually. He wanted a very good
He just couldn't
Mormon wife.
Couldn't play long game.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. So basically what he wanted is he wanted a girl to just sit there and fuck and like have you like a little fuck buddy until he found a nice Mormon wife. Enter Jodi Arias. That is how she got such a hold on him, because he was in the perfect position to be vulnerable to someone like her who is smart and can feed on someone's needs like that. So through the church, somebody in his church showed him a DVD for prepaid legal services. He then
Like the fucking ring fucking tape.
but Travis actually was kind of he was weirdly good at it. Like he was one of the people that can make one of these schemes work for him really well, and became like the one show guy to where like he joined us and he made $7 billion. He became like their spokesperson. He would go to all these conferences and he would speak and show like how like good marketing strategies, blah, blah, blah. He became really, really good at that. He got paid a lot of money to do so. So much so that he gets invited to a conference in 2006 in Las Vegas. And that is what brought him to meet Jodi Arias, because she had just joined the sales team and she was also at the conference.
Right.
Now, the actual meeting of Jodi and Travis was super boring. Jodi likes to make it like this big, huge thing, but the other like 5 people that were there all said that it was like whatever. Like she just kind of walked up. They were all hanging out outside the Rainforest Cafe, and
I'd be hanging out too.
And because they're all Mormon, they can't drink, gamble, they can't do anything in Vegas. So they're all just fucking sitting around the Rainforest Cafe.
This is boring.
And then Jodi just walks up and just starts like talking. Everybody though that was there will say that Travis immediately had a thing for Jodi, and immediately like kind of like eyed her out being there. And because first of all, Jodi Arias is hot. Period. I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of her. She's very attractive.
I haven't seen her. Can we see her?
Yes, absolutely. I actually will show you right now.
Let's see post jugs.
This is Jodi Arias.
Oh, okay. Damn. Okay.
She's very, very pretty, and that had to do with a lot of like her getting away with a lot of these things. Like this is Jodi Arias when she was blonde. Like she's very, very attractive. So that actually had a very big factor in the court cases, because pretty girls get let go a lot of times. So
especially when they have big fakers.
big fakers, in which she already does now in this part of the story. So they met, they got dinner that night, and then Travis asked her to go with him to the prepaid legal services Black and Gold Ball, which is the exclusive event that they were having. And
I don't really see it.
I don't see it either.
what?
She's not that fucking hot.
Jodi Arias?
No. Maybe
There's
there.
a couple. There's a couple.
There's a
He
couple.
pulled up good pictures.
Well, what'd you pull up?
Well, he
We're
put up
going
one-
through multiple.
Yeah, there was one
Yeah.
where she was side by side with like a really, really pretty actress. And it definitely doesn't hold up. Like,
Yeah, there was a comparison there. That's a good picture of her.
yeah.
Great picture.
Yeah.
He found a couple good ones.
Yeah. Well,
She's Italian,
mine. Well, I just pulled up all the ones from the court, from when she was on trial.
Oof.
I think that's a good one. I'm not gonna. You know who she is? I heard somebody else say this about her. She's murderer hot.
Yeah.
She's very, very attractive for a murderer.
That's fair, yeah. Because I mean, it's like her and that monster chick or whatever. Like, there's not really a bunch of them.
The monster chick.
You might get canceled for saying a serial killer's hot. Well, she's not really a serial killer.
No, she's not.
Just to kill.
She killed one person. And also, that was what the entire media was saying about her. Like, the entire media was like talking about how attractive she was and how she didn't look the type and things like that.
So
That was
the
a
same thing
big
about Ted Bundy, and he was ugly too.
I actually agree on that one.
Yeah, Ted Bundy's not.
Yeah, no, he was weird looking.
Yeah. So
Zac Efron did they a little uglier.
after they get invited to, or well, Travis invites her to the Black and Gold pre-legal services ball. They basically, the event was only for like the big shots of the company, so Jodi was not supposed to go. But this was kind of a move that Travis will do over and over and over again, where it's like basically like I'm kind of the shit, so why don't you come with me for the night? Like kind of vibe, just because he knew he could in this company because he was a fucking big shot.
Later.
Me, it's
And like I said earlier, the biggest thing that he was attracted to was that she was attractive, she was slutty, and she was not Mormon. So he finally found the girl that he could just like mess with on the side until he found his actual Mormon wife, and this is the thing that got him so attached. They go back to the hotel room that night after the ball, and they did not have sex. This was a very crucial point for some reason that they brought up over and over and over in the trial. They did not have sex the first night that they met. Just did a little mouse stuff, you know? And after, yeah, I know, yeah.
You know, good for him.
Good restraint.
Yeah, you know what?
Good restraint. Anyway, after the conference, they went back to their respective cities, and they started a long-distance relationship. They were about 200-300 miles apart. Nothing crazy, drivable easily, but they started that. I also got the final count. They released it in court of their emails back and forth. Keep in mind, this entire relationship from meet to death is about a year and a half. 82,000 emails were exchanged between a year and a half worth of time.
What year was this?
This is, when they met, this would have been 2006.
Okay, so like right around like BlackBerry time, I guess. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I guess because you could have done it on the phone and stuff. So what they basically did is they started using a friend's house. It was about halfway between them, and that's where they would meet and like hang out and like, you know, just have their relationship. They would sneak around and be sly about it because everybody in this household and all of Travis's friends are all Mormon. So they can't like say they're meeting there to fuck. Like they gotta just basically be like, oh, we're starting to see each other and things are going slow, and they would like sleep in separate bedrooms, and then he would like sneak over in the night. Like it was that kind of situation. And
Summer camp vibes. Big summer camp vibes.
I will say though that there's a lot of praising for Travis in this entire story. However, when it comes out on his end in real text messages that you can read, proof, he led her along for a long time. Like he was kind of a dick to her, and he just was stringing her along to be that girl on the side, even though she didn't want to be that girl on the side. Initially, she was okay with it, but then it got blurry. At some point, she switched and actually wanted to be with Travis. Travis still thought she was that girl. It was just a mix-up of boundaries and you know, priorities in the relationship. Strange. But throughout this entire year and a half, they were breaking up. They were getting back together. So much so that like their friends started to, or Travis's friends started to hate Jodi. Because he would come in and be like, fuck man, fuck that bitch. We fucking broke up. She did this, she did this, she did this. 3 days later, back together with no explanation.
Classic Travis.
It fucking
sounds like Travis.
like, and we all know this. This is what happened with the last one. This is the reason why my entire family and you didn't like them, because I did the same thing. We would get in big fights. I would go and I would complain, and then 3 days later it'd be fine. We would resolve it privately. Mark didn't hear about this resolution, so I'd be fine.
Fucking corner just
yeah,
that bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is basically what happened with all of Travis's friends, and they all didn't fucking like her. And it got so bad to where one night at this house they were meeting in the middle. Travis was up with the wife of his friend. They were just sitting in the living room. They were talking about just Jodi and basically like, you know, just what's going on. Is like, do you really see this going anywhere? Is this okay? Like, maybe you should just end it. And then all of a sudden, they hear a noise behind them. And then Travis gets up and opens the door, and Jodi's ear to the door, listening to them, listening to the girl say, you shouldn't be with her anymore, whatever. She's like, I didn't hear anything. I thought I heard something. Whatever, go to bed. They start talking again. And then she catches him again. This time the woman goes over and sees her. And right after this, she was never invited back because that woman was scared that Jodi would do something. Like, she was freaked out.
That seems valid.
Yeah, now it does. And during this time, Jodi does the one thing that Travis did not want her to do at all. She gets baptized and becomes Mormon. Because this is when she is like, full, I am going to be Travis's nice little Mormon wife. But in his head, this is not possible. It's not possible. She's already done all this crazy shit. We've already done all this gross, nasty shit. And besides, we can't, like, I cannot possibly look at you as my nice Mormon wife. So after she does this, she starts to be so fucking obsessed, even more obsessed, and she starts to do that changing again. She starts to adapt to everything Travis has ever said that he's attracted to. And she started to get fucking crazy. They were long distance, keep this in mind. In the middle of the night, Travis would just feel her like getting into bed. She would drive the entire way from her house to his house, climb in the doggy door, get to his room, and then like climb in bed with him. And he, yeah, and he just let it happen. Which, like I said, I'm not going to speak ill on anybody that's dead, but you are setting up expectations that this is okay. Well, if you're allowing that to happen, if you let that happen 3 times and you don't say, get the fuck out of my house, why would they think it's bad the 4th, or the 5th, or the 6th? He's setting up these huge, like, he's just not setting boundaries the whole time. And I think he just wants her around. So he's willing to just put up with shit. But that whole time, that's making her more crazy. She's just becoming a bomb, and she's getting more and more and more fused this whole time until eventually she will explode. And also, all this climbing the doggy door shit, this is like 6 months in.
Oh, Jesus.
This is so early for shit to be happening. She got baptized like 3 months in. 3 months after meeting Travis, she changed her religion.
That's an ick.
And was a born-again Mormon, yes.
It's an ick. Red flag.
So, eventually, towards the end of
Red flag.
this whole situation, they would eventually break up for good.
Right.
And yeah, like, and then Travis actually begins seeing a different girl from prepaid legal.
Jodi's
Oh!
not like that.
Jodi
Jodi's
does not fucking like that.
that.
Keep in mind, though, throughout this whole relationship, Jodi and Travis both have like their little side tangs the whole time. Because when she wasn't getting attention from Travis, she just text the other guy. Because he would give attention.
Filthy slut.
But he did it too. He did it too.
I don't care.
So, keeping that in mind, he starts.
She's the one that killed someone.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, she's the murderer.
Yeah, fair enough.
Vagina having murderer.
That's
gross.
That while she's doing this, she is both parts.
Ew.
Ew.
Girl parts.
Icky.
So while Travis starts dating this new girl, her name is Mary. He's still calling Jodi and texting Jodi for fucking phone sex like every other day.
That's on him at that point. Honestly.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, yes, it's Jodi's fault, but it's not Travis's fault. Like that, a lot of this happened. Obviously, shouldn't have stabbed him, but he was also a dick. He did a lot of dick behavior.
Right.
Maybe stab him once, not 27 times. It sounds like he had one good one.
One good jab would have taught him his lesson.
I mean, throughout this, imagine like this is a relationship that's so bad, it's so toxic. They're fighting, they're breaking up, they're getting back together, they're fighting, they're getting back together. It's unreal for a year and a half straight. What that'll do to a crazy girl is unheard of. I guess until this, but it's a bad situation.
Say, is it unheard of?
To this degree.
I'm just realizing how close I've been to being murdered before.
Bro, telling me. I was seeing signs when going through this story. I was going through this and I was reading like little like crazy things she did. I was thinking of names. I was getting flashbacks.
Just had his computer like,
I know, I really was.
I almost got stabbed 27 times. That's a piece of son of a bitch.
So around November, Travis was planning on taking a trip. He was going to go on this. It was completely paid for by prepaid legal, and he was initially going to bring Jodi. They broke up. He said, "You know what? I'm just going to go by myself." He wasn't. He was going to take this girl. It's unclear if Jodi ever figured that out before, everything happened. But I think she did. And I think that this is why she got so mad. This is one of the turning points in the story. But basically what happened is Travis, of course he did, had a blog. And he wrote this blog post on May 18th of 2008. And I'm pretty certain this is what made her snap. He wrote this blog post about complaining about being unmarried at 30, describing his perfect ideal wife, what she looks like, what she does, and it was not anything close to Jodi. People around her say that she would talk about Travis during this breakup the whole time, saying, "Oh, we're just going through a rough patch. We're going to work it out. Everything's going to be fine." The day that blog post came out, she never talked about Travis again. She completely blanked out because I think this is when she started planning the murder. This murder is so premeditated that it is insane. She calls him, threatens to release the phone sex recordings that she had taken. She had recorded a few of them that are gross. They're bad, and they say really gross, weird shit to each other. In one of them, he's moaning and saying oh my god, when you finally finished, you sounded like a little girl having her first orgasm. Ooh. And she would eventually in court take these things out of context and try to do a pedophile route to shame his name. So she was going to release those. He called her an evil psychopath, hung up, and then
bad call, brother.
The next time he would hear from Jodi Arias was the day of his murder. So,
I'll show you a psycho.
2 days after this call, Jodi Arias fakes a break into her own house. She was living at her grandparents' at the time. We forgot to take a break. Guys, we're going to be right back after this break. I just realized we're way over. I was so into this. All right, so
low break time.
We're going to take a little break, and when we get back, I'm going to bring into the breakdown. I'm not fucking talking correctly.
The day.
Yes, we're going to talk about the day of and everything that happens. Okay, guys? We'll be right back.
This episode is pretty scary. But what's scarier is not having access to your favorite Paramount horror films like Friday the 13th, A Quiet Place, and Scream. With Paramount Plus, you have access to a mountain of entertainment, groundbreaking originals, iconic movies, hilarious reality shows, game-winning sports, and so much more. It's all here on Paramount Plus. Plans start as low as $4.99. If you bundle with Showtime, you can save up to 28%. This was a pretty intense episode, so if you need something lighthearted to distract your mind, click the link in the description below to sign up for a free trial.
All right, guys, welcome back from that break. Thank you for keeping the lights on around here. Listen to those ads. We appreciate you. Like I said, we are going to get right back into the day of the murder and the planning of this, okay?
Right.
So, where we left off, he had gotten off that phone call with Jodi where he called her an evil sociopath. And 2 days after this call, she fakes an entire robbery in her grandparents' house where she is now living. The only thing she takes is she roughs up some shit. She takes her grandfather's .25 caliber pistol and then $30 of her own money to make it look a little more real, like that she wasn't, she was involved. She was also a victim. And then roughs up some shit, takes random shit around the house. And then, plays. She said she was at some temple the whole day when they came and asked her about it. Whatever. After this, she then calls a guy who she's been kind of keeping on the side for a super long time and finally says yes to a date in his town of Atlantic City. Then she stops by her ex-boyfriend Daryl's house and gets 2 gas cans full of gas because she is planning to drive all the way to Mesa, Arizona, which is where Travis lives, and kill him. But she does not want any receipts. She doesn't want her card to be seen there. She doesn't want cash to be seen there. She does not want to be there other than in a car or in a house. She puts gas cans in so that she can make that whole trip without stopping anywhere. Daryl is also, by the way, in between the gas station vampire and the 40-year-old alcoholic. He was in there. I just didn't talk about him.
Old gas can Daryl.
Yeah, gas can Daryl.
Some bitchin' gas cans.
Oh shit.
So after,
The most normal of the people she's dated.
yeah, Daryl just
a guy that has gas cans.
yeah, just a guy that's just literally the only person that she knows that has gas cans. After setting all this up, she drives directly to Travis's house on June 4th. She calls him about 1 p.m. and we assume that this phone call is to tell him I'm on the way. And Travis can't deny some puss. So he says yes, of course, because he lets her in every single time that she's fucking crazy, as we've learned. But then, after 1 p.m., she turns her phone off. And she continues to have her phone off the entire time she is in Arizona. So there's not even a ping of her cell phone anywhere around.
Ping, ping.
Oh, ping, ping.
And this is where I have to stop for a second and give a very big warning, because the next 5 to 10 minutes are going to be extremely fucking graphic. I'm going to be outlining the murder, how she does it, what she does. It is very, very fucked up if you're someone that cannot handle, blood, horror, murder, body horror. Skip like 5 minutes ahead. Maybe 7. Skip. Because it gets bad right here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain. There are 3 parts of this murder. She attacks 3 different times, basically. I'm going to go through one, get what you guys are thinking, and then I'm going to tell you how it gets worse each time, okay?
All right.
So she goes into the house. We're not sure exactly when she got there because, like we said, the phone's off. There's no record of her being there. We do know, however, that they fucked the whole day while she was there. And why we know this is because they took pictures of it that are time-stamped and dated of them having sex, and nude pictures of her and nude pictures of him, which are in the court photos. They show all these pictures in court as proof of time and things like that.
Nice.
So they end up taking a bunch of these naked pictures, and they get into the shower. And this is at like 5:07-ish. We know based on the timestamps of the photo. And she's taking pictures of him in the shower. She's taking pictures of Travis. And then there's like 7 that go by. It's just like his back, and then just like him like turn around in the shower, things like that. And then all of a sudden, the very last one that we see is this picture of Travis. I'll pull it up for you guys, but he looks like he is sitting down in the bathtub. Look at this.
Can't see. Oh my God.
We see this picture of Travis. He's staring directly in the camera. He looks fucking scared, first of all. Looks like he's sitting down in the bathroom. And I, as well as a lot of other people, think that this is the second she took out the knife, or she told him what was about to happen, or like this is his realization phase. So after this, at 9:29, she takes a picture, and it's the first stab. The first few that she did were not anywhere vital, wasn't going to kill him. One was directly in the chest, 3 more in the stomach. They were very, very fucking deep, though. She then cuts him, and there's a defensive wound that has cut in half this skin between the thumb and the index finger.
Okay.
That is part 1 of the murder. During this time, she's in a fucking rage. This is rage stabbing that's going on right now. But what she didn't know, when she dropped the camera, it started taking more pictures. Mm-hmm. So we have about a 2-minute blurry outlined image of what happened in this bathroom, where you can see the outline of her and the outline of him. It's just mangled shit going on for about 2 minutes. So part 2, Travis then stumbles out of the shower and throws up blood into the sink, because fucking like that. While he is there throwing up in the sink, she stabs him 9 more times in the back, and is still in this huge fit of rage. That's part 2.
Oh Christ. Okay.
Somehow he is still not dead. Then he stumbles out of the hallway, falls down. She stabs him then once in the head so hard it chips part of his skull. She then slits his throat ear to ear so hard that it cut the spine.
Fucking OJ.
Here, yeah, exactly like that, like almost to decapitation. Like it cuts part of his spine because she was so deep in there. And then, to finish it all off, grabs the gun, shoots one time in the temple. That is all 3 parts of the murder.
Jesus.
She then drags his body back into the shower, washes off all the blood, and I think in an attempt to kind of cover it a little bit, I think what she's doing when she washes off all this blood is she's trying to prevent smell for a minute. I think that, and I don't. There's a reason. I'll get into it here in a minute, but there's a weird like attention thing that Jodi Arias has. So I think she wanted the body to be discovered quick, and it's not. The body is there for, I think, like 10 days.
Jeez.
Travis also has 2 roommates who just horse blindered the whole time.
Wait, they were there?
Not during.
Oh, okay.
Not during.
But
that.
like in those 10 days after,
Mhm.
that's wild.
Yeah. So she drags the body back into the shower, washes the blood off. Then she thinks that she deletes all the photos off of this camera. She then takes that and the like bloody towels that are in the bathroom, throws them all in the washer, turns it on. She then takes the gun and the knife that she used and she leaves. We have no fucking clue what she did for the next 4 hours of time. Her phone is off. All we know is that those murder weapons were never seen again. She was in the middle of the Arizona desert. She got rid of them somewhere. She then continues on her way. She turns on her phone once she's about 20 minutes away from the border, headed to Salt Lake City. She calls the guy, says, "Hey, I'm on the way," for that date that she had set up with that guy as her alibi. Then she calls Travis, leaves him a voicemail that's like 2 minutes long, basically just talking, just chatting, being like, oh, we're doing this. I would love to have you join us when me and my friend go here, blah, blah, blah. Like super calm, super collected, and then mentions randomly, she's like, yeah, you'll never believe this. I ended up actually just driving 100 miles in the wrong direction. My phone died, so I'm just getting back to everybody now. And she calls him like 3 more times. She'll call him like 10 more times before they discover. But this specific call, the voicemail is available. I listened to it. It's fucking weird. She's so calm. And she had just stabbed him 27 times. Insane. So she gets to Salt Lake City. She is on the date with this guy. The only thing that he said that was weird was that she had some small cuts on her hands. That's it. She said that it was from her job, which she no longer worked for Prepaid Legal. She actually moved over to a different job. I think it was like part of a kitchen work like that. She said it was something to do with that.
So I work at the broken glass factory.
Yeah, this whole this date happened to be next to a prepaid legal conference. She had assigned it to be next to that on that date because everybody she knew and Travis knew were part of this prepaid legal. And since he was so high in the company, everybody knew him and by turn knew her. And I think that she was trying to get the body discovered while she was there so that she would be the center of attention and everybody would be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then it was also a part of her alibi to be there and be like, oh, I was just on the date with this guy. I had no idea. But that didn't happen. It's been 5 days now and no one has found him. She is still freaking out. She's still calling him. Eventually, like I said, about 10 days after, that girl that he was dating in this time, they're supposed to go on the trip in a few days. She hasn't heard from him for 10 days now. She goes over with a few friends to the house, tries to get him. The roommates are like, I don't know where the fuck he is. He's just whatever. Eventually they go and they find him. This is 10 days decomposition in this bathtub. It is bad. I looked through the photos. I do not advise you to do so. They're rough. On the 911 call that they send in after discovering the body, they name Jodi as who they think did it. Remember when we talked about the Jordan Brown case? Mm-hmm. And they interviewed everybody, and everybody said Adam Harvey was the guy that did it. This is basically the same thing. They interviewed all his friends, all his family, every single person. Do you know anybody that might have done this? Jodi Arias. Everybody. She does like the classic like over helpful thing with the police. So she directly gets inside of the investigation so that she can learn more, know if she's suspected, and then like also to cover herself, being like, I'll do whatever you need. I'll supply anything. Blah, blah, blah. She does that way too over helpful things. They basically knew it was her immediately. Everybody said it. There was this weird rocky alibi that she had. And then something that kind of secured the fact right before the actual real proof came out was she was calling all her friends to get that attention, being like, Travis is dead. You have to help me. You have to help me. Like, help me get through this, blah, blah, blah. Like being so dramatic, even though she did it. She just was still wanting this attention. It was so bad to where there was a group of 5 friends that were all being interviewed by the police inside of one of their houses. She called 2 of them. Back to back. She called one, said a bunch of things. They stepped out of the room to be on the phone, walked back in and was like, yeah, Jodi just called me. She was complaining about Travis. Well, the police officer standing right there, interviewing about how Jodi probably did it. Then all of a sudden, one of their phones lights up and it's Jodi. And he's like, answer it, put it on speaker. And then she does it and she says word for word the exact same story she just told the other guy. And like exact same like parts where she starts breaking down crying. It's all fake on the phone, but it's a convincing act. So eventually they're looking through Travis's house after this and they're still looking at Jodi the whole time. They find the camera in the washer. And Travis actually ended up solving his own murder. Travis paid an extra $50 at the store to get waterproof protection on the SD card.
That's
So
kind of awesome.
Yeah, that's
they find all these pictures that are time-stamped with Jodi in them, naked, with Travis. They find all the murder pictures. They find everything. All time-stamped of when she was exactly not supposed to be there. And then they find like the one of him like super scared like that. They also find the shell casing that then matches the gun that was stolen from there, and they piece everything together. And then the biggest thing that they find is in the middle, there's a bloody handprint on the wall of Travis stumbling out of there. Then she goes around the wall and grabs it like this. There's a perfectly preserved thumbprint in the middle of a bloody handprint. They eventually, they get her on this thumbprint basically by being like, well, you were Travis's boyfriend. I'm sure your DNA is all over that room. Help us give you a fingerprint so we can know it's not you. And they match it to that one. Because obviously she doesn't know that she left a fingerprint. Which is also strange because she did so much protection about the gun, the knife, the bloody towels. She washed off Travis, but then didn't give a shit about the rest of the room. There's blood everywhere. And there's so much evidence everywhere. She didn't care about that. Strange, but they go through this super long interview process. On YouTube, you can watch all 6 hours of her interrogation. 4 hours in, she changes into the jumpsuit because they already know it's her. It is crazy. I watched a lot of it. There's also a very, very scary part of this interview where they leave the room and they're coming back to book her and officially get her. And she asks if she can clean herself up and put on makeup. She asked them to go get her makeup so that she can look pretty for her fucking mugshot. They say no, obviously. They leave and then she starts singing this little this song. Just I don't remember what song it is exactly, but she starts singing it. And then it's said that where she is now, you can hear her still singing the song. From her cell. She still sings it every once in a while. And that's the only time that she talks or just talks to herself or does anything like that. She still sings that song. Just super fucking creepy. But throughout the trial, she got national attention from this. Obviously, she was seconded only to Casey Anthony for her time. Trial was a fucking mess. It lasted months. I think it lasted 2 years. It was ridiculous. She eventually was found guilty. She is now currently in Arizona Department of Corrections. And
So we can write her letters and shit.
oh, or what you could do is buy her art. She makes thousands
No shit.
from producing and drawing art and then getting people to come in and visit her, take the art, and then sell it. And you know what she identifies all her pictures with? A single thumbprint in the corner.
Oh. Twisted.
So-
Fucking twisted.
Mark,
Yeah.
I have a present for you. I got no, I'm kidding.
I was about to say, bro, get that shit out of my house.
Oh, I thought you were super for real.
I thought you were for real too. I was like, nope.
I thought about it. I really did. They're like $30 for a printed one. I really thought about it, but I didn't think it would get here in time. But that is Jodi Arias. What do you think?
Jesus Christ, that left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was weird. That got bad at the end.
I know. Well, that's about all we got for you guys. To be honest, usually we wrap this shit up and we make it on a light note. You know what this time? No.
Not this time.
Sometimes things
Now-
don't have happy endings.
Go to sleep and think about this case.
Yeah.
Because I will.
Night, night. Don't let the Jodi bite. All right.
Hey,
Dang,
yo.
that was crazy disrespectful. All right, guys. Well,
Do that again. I'm going to stab you 27 times.
Whoa. Slow your roll, Jodi.
all right, guys. Well, as always, thank you so much for listening. This has been Creep It 100. Go ahead and check us out on all of our socials at Creep It 100
Pod.
Pod. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Donate if you want to donate. Give us reviews.
Voicemail. YouTube.
The voicemails, the YouTube, all the good stuff. It's all going to be in the links in the description. If you're listening to this, you already know where it is.
On God.
You already clicked on it.
Unless this is for some reason an ad that Chorcy decided to run.
Yeah, if this is a clip, then I want you to go ahead. I'm going to make it really hard for him. I want you to go to one of these 3 mystery links. And then one of them is to our full, what is it, playlist? Yeah.
How did you do that? How did you do that?
The other 2 is to pictures of Jodi Arias. All right, guys.
Pictures of the crime scene.
Oh, God, I'm looking at them right now, actually. Right.
Are those the pictures?
That's the picture. That's the one that she got on. Of
Oh.
naked Jodi.
I can't even see it, bro.
Oh, she didn't even get big fakers. She got those weird little medium fakers. I mean, come on. That's a lot of money to spend on some fucking medium.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you
Fucked up.
next week when we do Krampus. Brent will still be here with us. Mark, maybe.
It's my episode.
See you guys.
I'm gonna be here.